played games. It was great.
Cool.
Great.
All right. Well, Meg, how about we get started? So,
okay,
hi, everyone. My name is Anna Tony. I'm the Executive Director at Leadership Toledo. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are really excited to host this event. We have a really exciting event that's coming to the Toledo area called the Solheim Cup. And if you are unaware of what the Solheim Cup is, you are in the right place. And we'll make sure that you know everything that you need to know. If you are familiar, we're going to just even elevate that level of knowledge even further. And we hope that you get to share this information with your friends and maybe find some ways that you, in fact, can be involved. And really why it's so exciting for our community. And at Leadership Toledo, we're all about highlighting what's happening in our community and connecting people to those opportunities. So that was why we wanted to be a part of this today. So I am going to pass it over to Meg Ressner. Meg is a great friend of Leadership Toledo, and she is also the co-host of the Solheim Cup this year. So Meg, I will hand it over to you, and just some housekeeping stuff. For any questions that you have, feel free to throw those in the chat and we will make sure that Meg gets those. And we will also throw some links in there as she talks about them and stuff like that. So we'll make sure that you have all that information. And then also make sure to stay tuned, because we have an opportunity for you to volunteer at Solheim, potentially with Leadership Toledo, hopefully with Leadership Toledo. So you'll get to hear a little bit from Ian McClellan and Danielle Johnson around that as well. So, all right, Meg, I will pass it over to you.
All right, great. Well, thanks. I wish I could see everybody's faces at the same time, but thank you so much for spending some time with us to talk about the 2021 Solheim Cup. It is an amazing experience. I've actually been to two. I went to the one in Des Moines, and then I also went to the one in Scotland. And it's really unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's more like an Olympics than it is your typical golf tournament. And I'll show you some video and give you some samplings of what you can expect to experience. And it's pretty exciting that it's going to be right here in our backyard. So it's going to take really the whole community coming together. We want this to be one that's benchmarked by future Solheim Cups and, makes lasting impact on Toledo and its community. There's lots of investment that's happening that's getting timed with the Solheim Cup. It's not necessarily just for the Solheim Cup, but the Summit Street beautification project and some of those things will just enhance the way we look when the Solheim Cup comes to Toledo. And you'll start to see red, white, and blue banners, and you'll start to see Toledo really looking like a host city as visitors come throughout the summer and hopefully make a decision to come back and be a part of the tournament. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and talk you through a bit of a PowerPoint, show you a couple of videos as well. All right. So for those of you who may not know about the Solheim Cup, it is a tournament that features the best US women against the best European women golfers. It's like the Ryder Cup, but on the LPGA side of the golf equation. It's named in honor of Karsten Solheim, who was the founder of Ping. It is really the LPGA's marquee event. It's held every 2 years and alternates between being hosted in Europe and being hosted in the US. So the last tournament was in Scotland 2 years ago. The last tournament in the US was in Des Moines in 2017. It really is the most prestigious event in women's professional golf. I would argue that it's one of the most prestigious events in women's sports. There's 3 days of what they call match play. So instead of what you might be used to seeing if you go to the marathon or if you watch golf on TV, it's not just, tee times throughout the day, but there's actually team matches and where they compete against each other hole by hole. It's patriotic. The quiet please paddles are replaced by like make noise, get loud. There's all kinds of rooting and cheering and singing. And, we're certainly hopeful that the European fans can join us so that we get the real experience of the Europeans and the US rooting on their teams. Currently, the USA leads 10-6. Europe won in Scotland on the final putt of the last day. And so we're hopeful to get the Solheim Cup back when it comes to the Inverness Club later this summer. So just to kind of give you some background as to why we are putting the targets in place for Toledo in the context of numbers of fans and economic impact. This is what the scene looked like in 2017 with Des Moines. There were 125,000 fans representing all 50 states, 1,900 volunteers from 6 different countries, 7.3 million television viewers. Golf Channel coverage on the final day drew 795,000 viewers. The LPGA.com had 130% more action than in 2015, 1 billion impressions, record merchandise sales, and an economic impact of $32 million. So for 2021, we've set our goals high as well. Our goal is 150,000 fans. You could see kind of what the breakout was in 2017. Over half of the ticket sales will come from outside the state of Ohio. So as you think about how to get people involved, don't just think about people that live here, but think about people that you interact with, your family, your friends, your colleagues from really all over the world that might want to come and be a part of this historic event. Our goal is 150,000 spectators over the week, and there's going to be live coverage of every match on golf as well as on NBC. So there's over 30 hours of live TV coverage in over 200 countries. So it really is the time for Toledo to shine and show its best self on the global stage. This is what's going to happen during the week. So everything starts on Tuesday, August 31st. The teams will start their practice rounds at the Inverness Club. We're hosting a women's summit at the Stranahan Theater. The Women's Summit will be in our 5th year. The previous 4 years it was held in conjunction with the Marathon Classic. And this year's beneficiaries will be the Growing Futures Together project, which is a collaboration between First Tee and the Boys and Girls Club. It will benefit the Women's Build of Habitat for Humanity. And I know Erin and Anastasia are on the call. And it will benefit Renee Powell grants, which are grants provided to girls golf, particularly in communities that serve Black girls that are interested in learning about golf. Solheim After Sundown will be that night, and that's the real kickoff of the week. It's hosted by Danbury. It's going to benefit the Danbury Treasure Chest. Wednesday's Healthcare Hero Appreciation Day. Team practice continues. And then on Wednesday and Thursday at Sylvania Country Club, there's going to be the Ping Junior, which is girls from 15 to 18 who play in the same competition, many of who will be on future Solheim Cup teams down the road. There's potentially a celebrity event that's still being worked through in the sponsor celebration. And then Friday, we're going to rock it in downtown Toledo. So starting at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon, downtown from Summit Street, like around like kind of Adams to Jefferson is going to be closed with satellite stages, food trucks. The Arts Commission, the Toledo area cultural leaders have come together to really put together just an amazing day that'll be capped by the opening ceremonies, introducing the players. And if you haven't heard, a concert featuring Gwen Stefani, followed by fireworks. And then the actual competition takes place at the Inverness Club on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but there's foursome matches happening Saturday, Sunday, and the singles matches happening on Monday. Just gonna share a video to give you a sense of what this experience is like and give you a taste of the Solheim Cup and what you can expect. So you got a sense of what that first tee experience looks like. So a lot of what happens and a lot of what people want to be a part of is this first tee experience at a Ryder Cup or a Solheim Cup. And it's electric. And like when the crowd quiets for the players to hit, they'll step back and ask the crowd to, cheer, and they'll hit while they're cheering. And what's going to happen at Inverness for the first time ever in Ryder Cup or Solheim Cup history is because of the proximity of the 1 in 10 tees, we can actually create our experience around both. So those who come into those bleachers, and many will line up at 5:30 in the morning for those morning tee times to get a seat in the 1st and 10 tee, will actually see players tee off on both 1 and 10. And this is just a rendering that gives you a sense of what that's going to kind of look and feel like at Inverness.
Meg, I have a question. So how does this, does Inverness have to shut down before this in order to be prepped and get everything built up? What does that look like for them right now?
Yeah, so one of the reasons, well, 3 of the reasons that Toledo got the Solheim Cup, one is obviously Inverness and its historic, its history, its golf history, and its course, but also the community coming together and creating a fan experience on and off the golf course. And then also the sponsorships, starting with Marathon, who is a global sponsor for this event, as well as continuing to sponsor the LPGA. So we started this bid process in 2015. So there's been work underway for quite a long time, first to get the bid, and then now to start planning and entering into contracts and getting things set up at the golf course. So the build will actually begin in mid-June, which means there will be people traveling, contractors traveling and staying in Toledo, eating at our restaurants. So it really begins long before the tournament itself. And they'll start the setup on the big structures. There's going to be lots of hospitality tents. We have over 100, I think there's 111 sponsors to date with hospitality on the golf course, in the clubhouse. And then we also have something called the Meyer Pavilion, which is a big double-decker facility that's got upgraded concessions, upgraded bathrooms that you can buy passes to. So that construction will start mid-June. And the golf course will close to the members about a week before. They'll limit our ability to use carts and some of those kinds of things just to make sure that the course is in its absolute best condition. And it'll close several days in advance. But we'll probably be experiencing some construction on the golf course pretty much all summer.
Hey, Meg, it's Allie Burns. I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm sure plenty of research has been done as far as accommodating all of the out-of-town guests for lodging and entertainment and food and that sort of thing. Are we equipped as a city to be able to handle the hopeful influx of people?
Absolutely. We had to prove that as part of our bid process. So we worked closely with Destination Toledo and the city commission to make sure that we have everything that we can that we need to have in order to accommodate people. Hotels will go as far as Findlay and in Ann Arbor, Maumee, Bowling Green, et cetera. But yeah, we are equipped to house everybody, and we had to prove that in order to be awarded the bid.
Thank you.
We have another question. Do we know what the requirements will be to be able to attend this event as a spectator and volunteer, given the COVID-19 procedures that may or may not need, whatever will be in place around that?
Yeah. Great question. We're watching every event very closely, and those decisions probably won't be made until
I accidentally
Sorry, I got muted.
Sorry, that was my fault.
Okay. We are watching other tournaments and other activities very closely. We will be guided by CDC, the governor, and the Lucas County Board of Health on what we can and can't do. We expect there'll be some things in place, but we're hopeful as the summer progresses, we feel like time is on our side. And if you watch the draft and the Kentucky Derby, it looks like fans are gathering and being a part of these, bigger experiences. But we will make sure that whatever protocol we need to have in place to ensure the safety of our players and participants, we will follow whatever those guidelines are at the time, but we don't know currently what they will be.
Great, thank you.
All right. So, wanted to talk a little bit about what the volunteer opportunities look like and why we would love for you to be a volunteer and to encourage others to be volunteers. This is your chance to be part of a team that will help Toledo shine on this global stage that we've talked about. The volunteer package is $175. It includes your tournament access for the week, which in and of itself is valued at $175. It includes a practice round for a friend to join you. It includes lots of swag, a shirt, a jacket, hat, drawstring backpack, water bottle, a few other accessories. It includes your parking. It includes access to the volunteer headquarters for food while you're working. There's a volunteer party that's on Sunday, August 29th at 6 o'clock. There's an option for you to purchase, I think, up to 2 Meyer Pavilion tickets at the reduced rate of $250 versus the public rate of $385. And then we've also put together a student package with slightly less assets, but at a price point of $100. And I know Ian and Danielle are going to talk in a minute, but where you register is on the Solheim Cup USA volunteers. And if you're part of this Leadership Toledo team, which they'll talk about, you'll use a registration code LT when you register to make sure that you get assigned to their team. And then we really just are trying to have everybody spread the word and educate your friends, your family, your colleagues about this event and to encourage them to participate. We don't really want anyone to wake up on Tuesday morning and say, oh my gosh, what did I miss? So there's a community toolkit, which I'll show you. There's flags and window clings available that you can post and display. The fan experience is going to be organized around various tracks. So we're going to if you're a young family, we're going to create this is kind of what you should do while you're here. If you're a foodie, this is where you should go. If you're a sports enthusiast, this might be what you'd like to do that week. And all of those destinations or tracks will be hopefully housed on Destination Toledo and the Chamber for future visitors to Toledo, not just to the Solheim Cup. So all the work we're doing is work that we believe will have impact long after the tournament leaves town. And we just have the benefit of everything that we've done in preparing for it and hosting it. We'd love for you to participate in the events I talked about, Solheim After Sundown, the Women's Summit, opening ceremonies. Invite your friends and family and attend. And again, not just your friends here in Toledo or your family here in Toledo. My family's doing a little reunion. They're all coming in. Some are volunteering. Some are just going to be spectators. And we're going to just enjoy some family time together, which we've missed over these last 18 months or so. And then support others to attend or volunteer. So within your companies, if you have some influence, 2 of the things that we're hearing are, hey, I might not be able to volunteer because I don't want to take the time off work. Particularly people early in their career might not have very many vacation days. So if there's a way your company might make it possible for them to volunteer without having to use a day, or some companies and organizations are also sponsoring people to volunteer or attend the tournament by paying their entry fees. We really want this to be accessible and inclusive and something that's available to everyone and anyone that wants to be a part of it. Here's the links that I was referring to. This is the community toolkit. This is the volunteer registration. And I'm going to just show you those real quick, so you have a sense of what's out there. So this is the home of the Solheim Cup. If you go here under volunteers, this is where you register. Again, everything I talked about that's included in the volunteer package is listed here. And then the community toolkit is under event information. And again, this is a place where you can download infographics, frequently asked questions. There's some videos you can show. This is where you can order your window cling or your flag, and really pretty much everything that you need to help your employees know and your colleagues know what's happening and what to expect. And then there's a Solheim Cup newsletter, which if you want to get on a monthly basis, you can enter your email address and subscribe to that. So I'll pause there and see what questions you have.
All right, let's see. Someone wants to know, what is the Women's Summit?
Great. So the Women's Summit is an event, as I said, we've done it the last 4 years at the Marathon Classic. It features a speaker. This year's theme is change for women. And we're going to really kind of focus on the change we're all going through as we transition from pandemic times to whatever this post-pandemic or new normal is, for lack of a better word. And our speaker is very close to signing her contract, so we're hoping to announce that shortly. It is an event that is focused on women's professional development. It typically has an LPGA feature. We are hoping to have both of the Ping Junior captains and another player present to the group and tell us about their experience and everything associated with the Ping Junior as well as the Solheim Cup. And as I said earlier, it has a philanthropic component in that it will we've raised over $100,000 the last couple of years. Our goal this year is to raise over $250,000, benefiting the Women's Build for Habitat for Humanity, the Growing Futures Together project, which is the collaboration between First Tee and Boys and Girls Club off of Hill Avenue, the first collaboration of its kind in the country. And then thirdly, there was Dick. And then thirdly, Girls Golf and the Renee Powell grant. Renee Powell is one of the first African-American golfers on the LPGA tour. And she's the captain of the Ping Junior, and the LPGA has named some grants after her to benefit communities focused primarily on introducing Black girls to golf. If anybody's interested in more information and tables, I can send you the flyer and how you can get involved in the Women's Summit.
Yes. Are we able to share these slides after, Meg? Someone was asking if we can send a copy of these.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then Emily says, I am volunteering at the Solheim. When will all the volunteers start to be notified about our volunteer assignments? And then there's another question about, is there a nonprofit rate for the volunteer opportunities? So when will we be notified about volunteer assignments? And then is there a nonprofit rate?
So the committee chairs are in the process. We're in the process of assigning volunteers behind the scenes based on first, second, and third preferences. So when you volunteer, you get to identify your first, second, and third choice. And then the committee chairs will start their tentative schedules in June. So you will likely start to hear about your assignments in June, and then your shift schedule is probably sometime in July. And then we do not have a nonprofit rate for the volunteer opportunities. We are trying to work with different organizations that might be able to help us sponsor or underwrite or support nonprofits and others that may be interested in volunteering or attending the event.
Looks like we have a few people that would be interested in the summit information. So perhaps we can send a follow-up email with the slides and the summit information to everyone who registered.
Yeah, and we've actually put together some packages. It's called the Solheim Sampler, which I will also share, which is intended to sort of give you the opportunity to experience the entire week. So a company could support a group of women from the Women's Summit all the way through to opening ceremonies and participation as a spectator. Or there's actually an individual one where if you and your friends want to purchase a for you package, it includes access to the tournament as well as tickets to the concert and tickets to the Solheim Cup, Solheim after sundown. So I'll make sure you have both of those to take a look at.
Great. Are there volunteer opportunities as a group without signing up as an individual?
So when you sign up, you can actually identify people that you want to volunteer with. And there are volunteer opportunities for golfers and non-golfers alike, right? So where we need a lot of people are in merchandise, on the golf course as marshals, as ambassadors. These are the people that if somebody wants to know where to go or where a hole is, or, where a particular hospitality suite is, like kind of wayfinding and just making sure people feel informed and welcomed. And so ambassadors, marshals, merchandise, those are really the big areas where we need lots of people. We need over 2,000 volunteers, and we're about halfway there. So we are really excited about people signing up and helping us fill some of those key spots.
And to be clear, and I'm sure our volunteer captains will say this, Leadership Toledo as a whole, if you're on this call and you don't necessarily have a huge affiliation with Leadership Toledo, we'd still love to have you. So we can be your group. So
yes,
we will not discriminate against any.
Yeah. So we have several organizations like Leadership Toledo that are sponsoring a hole and are going to be captains and be responsible for recruiting and scheduling the volunteers to work that hole. And we're grateful to Leadership Toledo and Ian and Danielle for being captains for the hole. And that's what Anna was talking about. In that case, you would use a registration code and you would get assigned to that team. If you wanted to do something different and you wanted to be scheduled and work with your friends or family, when you register, it'll say, is there a volunteer you'd like to be working with? And you'll type in their names, and your committee chair will do his or her best to accommodate you and have you working together, because we know people coordinate transportation and schedules and that type of thing.
I think that's all we have for questions right now. Where do volunteers park at the tournament?
The volunteer parking, I think, is going to be at Scott Park, the Scott Park University of Toledo campus. General parking for fans is going to be at the Stranahan. So people will park at the Stranahan and there'll be shuttles going back and forth. But I believe the volunteer parking is at Scott Park, and your volunteer credential gets you into the parking, and then you'll take a shuttle to the golf course from there. There also will be Lyft and Uber drop off at the corner of Dorr and Richards. And you'll see if you drive down Dorr, there's a lot of enhancements happening to Dorr Street, including sidewalks to make that safe. And plus Dorr Street will be closed, I think, between Richards and Reynolds, except for emergency traffic. So we are trying to create ways that people can get to the tournament, as effectively and efficiently and safely as possible.
Great. I didn't know that about the enhancements on Dorr Street. So that's exciting. Will you be able to do any cross promotion at the upcoming LPGA Marathon Classic event?
Yeah, we'll likely have a booth at the expo. You know how like when you walk into the tournament, there's booths. We'll likely have a booth, and we'll be recruiting volunteers and spectators at that time.
Angie's super excited about this event. So
I know, and I love, Vanessa said that the Women's Summit's one of her favorite events. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah. All right.
So Ian and Danielle, you want to talk a little bit about your hole and anything you want to build on from what we've talked about?
Yeah, my name's Ian McClellan, for those who don't know me, and I see some unfamiliar names and faces, so hi. I am part of the LT board, and I've agreed to kind of help in coordination with Danielle in gathering and kind of organizing the LT effort to marshal a hole. I was a caddy at Inverness for a number of years in my youth, and so I have an affinity for the course and the history of the course and that kind of thing. I still love to golf really poorly, So I like to be around the game. So I'm hopeful that we're looking for like 35 willing bodies that know golf, that don't know golf, that want to come out and have a good time and watch an elite level sporting event up close and personal. So, she kind of gave you the link. We're looking for you guys to use that LT code if you can. And I'd love to meet as many of you as possible and have a good time over that stretch. Danielle, do you have anything you want to add? I mean,
yeah, well, just so you know, I did put our email addresses in the chat. So if anyone has any questions or kind of needs some guidance in getting all registered, just shoot myself or email or Ian an email, and we're more than happy to help as we kind of navigate through the next couple of months.
Yeah.
And we're excited. I'm excited to be a part of this. So I hope, you guys are as excited as we are.
Right.
And I just added my contact name in the chat as well. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I also noticed there was another question about the first tee facility and whether it's going to be done. It will be done for Solheim, and we actually hope that it's going to be featured. And we are planning a day for the Boys and Girls Club and first tee participants to experience the facility as well as the tournament. And I believe the ribbon cutting will actually be that week.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Great. So, so you can register just via the Solheim website, and then the code I believe is LT, right?
Correct.
I think it's just LT. So
yeah, it is.
That in, and then that kind of assigns you through their portal, and then we'll be in touch at a later date. So unless there's any more questions, Meg, I think you can.
I have one more video to show, just to leave you pumped up and excited about the tournament. So let me just.
We do have one more question.
Go ahead.
Clarify, if you sign up to volunteer as part of LT, you will be assigned to something at the pole that LT is doing, and that is correct.
Correct.
And
anybody that puts in the LT code will get assigned to the LT hole and scheduled by Ian and Danielle.
Yes. And then Dana, to answer your question, you do not need to have a direct connection with us. We'd love to meet you and give you a direct connection with us. So feel free to use the LT code, and we would be happy to meet you on the course.
Or at the volunteer party.
Yes, or the volunteer party.
Anything else?
Not right now.
All right, let me share this video just to leave you even more excited than you already are.
So exciting. I think the US is ready to bring it home.
Yep, we got to bring it home to the US for sure, because you could see them. That was the final putt when Europe won in Scotland. So we want that to happen on our home turf in September, Labor Day weekend.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Meg, so much. Thank you all for joining us today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Meg directly, or if you reach out to Leadership Toledo, we'll make sure that you get pointed in the right direction of where you need to go with any questions. Otherwise, I think that's all we have for today. I'm just going to do a little plug here. Leadership Toledo signature program applications are open. So if you're interested in checking that out, check out our website as well. So other than that, thank you all for your time and have a great rest of your day.
Anna, can you save the chat so we can have those questions?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
I think it
Thank you.
downloads automatically, but I'll do it just in case.
Yeah. Thank you everybody so much for joining us. And we look forward to having you be part of this amazing experience for Toledo. Thanks.